No one. Still, I can't see anyone. Hello, Anmol Kumar. Hi, Anmol and Suraj Kumar, both of you. Am I audible? Am I audible, guys? Anmol, Suraj, am I audible? कितने बच्चों ने ज्वाइन किया अभी?
I'll watch you. अब कब से है?
अभी तो मुझे पता नहीं चला, बच्चे आए नहीं है।
2 बजे से है ना?
हाँ, 2 बजे से है, 2 बज गए।
यहाँ पे बात कर रही वो भी लाइक
हो, आई कांट सी, बच्चे का कुछ दिख नहीं रहा मुझे ना क्लास में। हाँ, so अभी let's just see. I think some are. Am I audible, guys? Okay. All right. So let's just start our today's session on answer writing. Today we have to discuss on the paragraph writing, that is introduction, body, and conclusion. Introduction, body, and conclusion. This is a basic structure in which we must know about this basic. You can say that when you are writing your answers, okay, whether it's an essay or it's your answers of 150 words or 250 words, we need to follow this basic structure, which consists introduction, body, and conclusion. Today in this class, I would be focusing only on introduction part. In your entire answer, the most important paragraph is your introduction. Introduction tells reader that what you are going to write in your answer. Introduction introduce to examiner that you have understood the question. It indicates your thesis statement as well. Thesis statement means that what are the major points you are going to write in your answers. In the last 2-3 classes, I have explained that how to read questions. Mostly in UPSC questions, I'm talking about GS question papers, you have to write your answers on 2 or more points. Most of the questions are sentences, which is of compound complex sentences. Okay. In essay, when we write essay like for 1200 words, your introduction should be lengthy as compared to your answers when you write for 150 words or more than 150 words, that is 250 to 270. But here we have to focus on a point that introduction needs to be really catchy. I hope I'm audible to all of you and you can all listen, since I cannot see any of your response in the chat section. Okay. So today let's just understand what is introduction and what are the things which you need to write in introduction. The major point in your introduction, I'd say that you need to hook the attention of your examiner. So the purpose of this part is to catch the reader's attention, okay, and provide an overview of the essay theme and small piece of background and basic information about the topic you are going to cover. So here, first of all, you have to write, you need to show some relevant information that may grab the interest of your teacher. Okay, so first we will try to write such statements. After that, the key point here, to provide an overview of the essay theme. And then some piece of background information. That is again very important. So let's just see the first part of our introduction, in our essay writing point. Okay, so let me more explain you with this. Introduction has two major functions. Firstly, it tells the reader what you are going to be talking about in your paper. Simply put, it should identify the essay topic. Essay topic means the question which is being asked to you, the essay theme on which you are supposed to write your answer, and also give some insight about the essay's main point. Secondly, it has to evoke interest and motivate the audience to read the rest of your paper. Let's see some examples of introduction. I have got this one introduction paragraph in which we are talking about disability. And with respect to disability, we are talking about Braille. So the invention of Braille, in which disabled person are able to read and write. So this is about, you can say, about a writing system which helps blind people to write and also to read. How we can write a paragraph, introductory paragraph, to catch the interest of our examiner, as I said again. Okay, so please read this. Before we read this paragraph, let me explain you. Step 1 is of hook your reader. We must give background information. Present your thesis statement. It means that your important points on which your essay or your answer is going to revolve. Map your essay structure, check and review. These are some of the tips by which you can write a very good essay. The steps which I have discussed, you need to train your mind through practicing many essays and answer writings, by which you can keep these steps in your mind and you can write a really well answer and essay. As I said that, I've given the example of disability and how the introduction of Braille, which is a writing system in which blind people use some dot, okay, and then they can read and write with that. So it actually revolutionized entire disabled person to get education. Similarly, we have many other inventions which have helped all disabled persons to have progressive lives. If a question comes or any essay topic comes on such areas, how you can begin? Okay, so today you need to focus how to hook the attention of our reader. How we can grab the attention. So this is the first step. By grabbing the attention, what happens? We generally write those points which is of interesting, which is very interesting. It must catch reader's attention. It can be factual information, it can be some proverb, it can be some quotes with respect to the topic. It can also be a small introductory story. There are various ways by which you can write a powerful introduction. While we write powerful introduction, we need to keep two more points in our head, that it must revolve to the topic. Secondly, that whatsoever you are going to talk in the following paragraph, that should reflect in your introductory part only. So let's discuss step 1 in quite detail. How to hook your reader. Your first sentence sets the tone for the whole essay. That means that you need to decide on which pitch you are going to write your answer or your essay. What would be the tone of your answer? Okay, so tone means that, see, there are different types of questions. Are you using argumentative tone in which you are arguing about disability, or you are arguing about the relevance of Braille system, for instance, or your tone is exploratory in nature? For example, does Braille system help blind sections of our society? Even after having the discovery of dot writing systems, we have less percentage of disabled person who could have contributed in their self and societal growth. So these are some of the parameters in which you can set the tone of the questions. Another example with respect to the tone of the question is that whether you are talking about advantages or disadvantages about Braille's writing system. If you're talking about the advantages of Braille writing system, so what are those advantages? To show the advantages, you need to reflect some of the disadvantages too. What are the disadvantages if you have any in the Braille writing system? You need to be critical, and then you need to show the relevance, the relationship between this writing system, for instance, with respect to your current usage in contemporary society. So by tone, it means that what you are going to talk about. So what is the theme? Okay, so tone sets the theme of your question, of your essay. If you are using, let's just say you are showing that how Braille system have helped in providing good education to one sections of society, let's just say to male, okay, then what about other sections, like what about about females, about gender about gender point, if you can bring it up. So you really have to set the base. If you are talking about Braille system in historical manner, so are you using historical approach? Are you using comparative approach? So Braille writing system with another system which help disabled person. Okay, so or you can also take up a case study. So case study is what? In which you are discussing any particular state, and it impacts or its usage of Braille's writing system. Okay, so in that you can talk about, for instance, New Delhi. So in New Delhi, what you can say that what is the percentage of blind people? Okay, and how many schools have this system? So is it there? Is it only in the special schools, or is it there in the regular schools as well? Okay, so you really have to make interconnections. So, in this regard, you must avoid long, dense sentences. Start with something clear, concise, and catchy that will spark your reader's curiosity. The hook should lead the reader into your essay, giving a sense of the topic you're writing about and why it is interesting. You must avoid overly broad claims or plain statements of fact. See and try to have conceptual clarity over introduction by seeing the examples. So now the first statement, Braille was an extremely important invention. So it is setting a base, it is setting a tone with respect to significance of this discovery. So here you need to see what have I written, that Braille was an extremely important invention. The invention of Braille was a major turning point in the history of disability. This can be another example. See, both sentences is giving the same information. Here it says that it is extremely important. Same sentences in your essay, we can write down in this manner. The invention of Braille was a major turning point in the history of disability. Okay? So there is a huge difference in both the sentences. Both the sentences are conveying the same meanings. Both sentences are conveying same meaning, but the first one is little dry. Second one is more interesting. It sounds something interesting. It's catchy. Okay, it's catchy. What we are happening by reading the second sentences. See the words which I have used. The invention of Braille was a major turning point. A major turning point. So what is happening? It is emphasizing that after the introduction, after the discovery of Braille, something relevant had happened in the society. Positive, you can say that positive consequences have happened in the society. It brought a major positive change in society. So, in the history of disability, you must be aware of the fact that when we talk about giving certain rights or privileges to different sections in the society, when we have got the freedom, okay, after the independence, we have got, privileges for many sections in our society, specifically in Indian society, with respect to Dalit, minorities, linguistic minorities, tribal people, okay? But disabled person was not that actively involved in having you can say, in bringing instrumental changes. Why? Because we did have very minimum percentage of disabled person who could have achieved higher level of education, or who could have or who had done something, who had achieved something really, you can say, very intrinsic or something very important, so that they can actually participate in democratic function and they can spoke about their rights. But after state intervention and after having great efforts by different sections, disabled person or the points on the disabilities and provisions on the disability, that how we can work for those sections of the society who are disabled, we people have started bringing too many, you can say, the policies for their welfare. So, for instance, right now, we have different terms, we have different concepts to address them. They are very much integral part of any sections of the society. So, in this respect, what you have to think of, if you write your essay and that the first line of that essay, which emphasizes the importance, which is very powerful, you automatically will start thinking something which is more, which is like, which has more substance. So for hooking attention of your readers, you must introduce the first sentence in your essay as powerful as you can see on your screen. Okay, now let me just show you two more examples with respect to internet. See the first sentence. The internet is defined as a global computer network providing a variety of information and communication facilities. See the second sentence. The spread of the internet has had a world-changing effect, comma, not least on the world of education. This is a better way to express the importance of internet. In the first line, in the first sentence, you must have observed that it is giving dictionary definition. That internet described as this, internet means this, internet refers to the definition which we generally write. And this is a frequently asked question also, that generally aspirants believe that if there is some question and they know the definitions of that, so they should start their answer with the definition. I believe explaining and writing specifically in your GS papers, you must not begin your answer with definitions. It sounds like a school, school children. You can get the gist of the definition and you can later on talk about the definition given by that particular thinker. And it's good if you can tell that, okay, this is being defined as this, to have conceptual clarity. Not definitions is not making your answer very enriched to look or to see, right? So what you have to see, what you have to understand, that even if you are writing some introduction, you can just write down in between the paragraphs, just to, as a quote. And then just also write down the thinker or the author name who has defined it. Whereas if you bring the holistic understanding of the definition in your answer and specifically in your introduction, it brings a lot change and lot, you can say a very focal point, a focal of, it becomes a central of attraction, it becomes a center of attraction of your essay, right? So I would again say that you must avoid using a dictionary definition, okay? And especially if it is something which everyone knows. Sometimes we introduce a book in our answers, in our essay. For example, Mary Shelley's Frankenstein is a famous book from the 19th century. Mary Shelley's Frankenstein is often read as a crude cautionary tale about the dangers of scientific advancement. So in both the sentences, what is happening? See, if you are introducing any author work and you are saying that it is a famous book from the 19th century, it is again a dry fact. We all know about this fact. So there is no point. There is no point to tell something which people already know. For example, we know various great philosophers like Aristotle, Socrates, Plato. So if you are telling that Aristotle is a very famous philosopher of earlier century and he has spoke about this, or you're talking about Socrates and he has spoke about justice, and you're not providing us some very different information, definitely it will not going to grab my attention. But if I'll bring some very rare information, or maybe information which is not that, it's not very generic, it will definitely grab our attention. For example, the second sentence, if you can see, Mary Shelley's Frankenstein is often read as a crude cautionary tale about the dangers of scientific advancement. So it is giving an overview of that author's book. So even if you are introducing you are writing your introduction and you want to convey about that, okay, these are the authors who have spoke about, or this is the author who has spoke about and it's very famous, you need to bring holistic understanding of that particular book. Okay. So it is very important to tell us about the mainstream interpretation of the book. So this is the first step, I would say. Now we must give some background information. You need to give your reader the context that they need to understand, your topic and argument depending on the subject of your essay. And this is very important. It must provide an outline, historical, geographical, and social context. So an outline of the debate you are addressing. This is again very important part. Just a moment, guys. Let me see the chat section. Okay. The next point here is you can also tell about key terms. Here is about the main points which you are going to write in your essay, but you are not supposed to write them in a very broader manner. So it should just be a smaller, you can say a smaller introduction about those points which you are going to discuss in detail in the following paragraphs, body 1 and body 2. So what happens is that you need to introduce to the key terms, that means the main points of your essay. main points of your essay which you are going to write down, okay? And it should, the information here should be broad but clearly focused and relevant to your argument. And you do not have to give too much detail. You can just mention the points that you will return to later. All right? After that, you must provide background information. So here the background information is the writing system of raised dots used by blind and visually impaired people was developed by Louis Braille in 19th century France. So it is giving some background information. Okay, good afternoon, Jasip, Soumya, Saurav. Why you people have not joined in the chat, the normal link? I could not see much of the viewers. Okay, so we got some students here, also some students there, but I'm not able to see anyone. Anyway, now see here. What is the background information? You, after introducing your first line, after writing first line, you must give background information about that topic. If it is about democracy, let's just say about democracy, okay? So democracy and development is your topic. So first of all, what you can write, all of you. So today I cannot see all of you, so it's like, it's less interactive class. Otherwise today I had planned that I would give you a time, and here only I like to see what you people have written. Okay, so let's come back to the development and democracy. So let's just say if you need to write first sentence, how you would write? Development and democracy. So what you can write? Democracy and development goes hand in hand. It's a very generic statement. Democracy without development is you can just use any phrase here, any proverb that is of no use. It is like, big house with no people. I mean, I'm just giving you very layman examples, but here you can learn metaphors. One of the quickest ways to improve your essay writing, to learn the metaphors. Development and democracy complements each other the way sky or moon and star complements each other. I'm giving you a very basic understanding of metaphors. So after writing and showing the importance of democracy and development, they are very complementary, interrelated. You can give background information. So the concept of democracy was introduced in you can say that it introduced in Athens, in Greece, very first time in the history of mankind. And there it was not in democracy at that point of time, not each and every sections of that society were participating, but only few elites could participate. So what am I doing? I'm giving a background information on the topic of democracy. Then after that, I have, first of all, I've spoke about that how democracy and development are interrelated. And then I may talk about the relevance. And then I would also talk about the democracy and development in geographical context. Let's just say, first of all, I would say that, how democracy and development is being perceived by different nations in the world. Okay, so geographical location. So what type of democracies and the development, after having democracies in their respective nations, how, how you can say that, how you can just imagine that whether after, after introducing that democratic system, how much development these nations have made. So can we measure the development? So what are the indicators of that? Then we can see democracy and development from various angles. So from historical, from political, from social, and also from science and technology as well. Okay, so what you need to do in introduction only? So what are the points which you have spoke about? You need to introduce in your introduction only. So first, you are showing the relevance of democracy and development. Then you gave some background information, historical information. Okay, and then you are interlinking democracy and development with different dimensions. For instance, right now we have spoke about the Braille. So after telling that what is Braille, after showing the significance of Braille system, that how it has, how it was, the introduction of Braille system was a turning point in the history of disability. Okay, so here I have shown the relevance, and then I am showing that this was developed by Louis Braille and in France, and then I'm giving a background information. So automatically flow is coming in your answer, right? So in a society that did not value disabled people in general, blindness was particularly stigmatized, and lack of access to reading and writing was significant barrier to social participation. So please focus in these 3 lines. Okay. Now see here. If you can see, after giving background information, the writing system of raised dots used by blind and visually impaired people was developed by Louis Braille in 19th century France in a society that did not value disabled people in general. So now showing the relevance of Braille system. So in a society that did not value disabled people in general, blindness was particularly stigmatized, and lack of access to reading and writing was a significant barrier to a social participation. So now it's showing that what was happening earlier. So in a society where the blind disability was stigmatized, and blind people did not have much opportunity to grow there was no opportunity for their self growth. So what is happening here? And this blindness was particularly stigmatized, and it says, and lack of access to reading and writing was a significant barrier. So now it shows that what was the problem. तो problem क्या था? ठीक है, वो explain किया गया है यहाँ पे. So the idea of tactile reading was not entirely new, but existing methods based on sighted system were difficult to learn and use. Now, you can say the third step is to present your thesis statement. Now it's time to narrow your focus and show exactly what you want to say about the topic. This is your thesis statement, a sentence or 2 that sums up your overall argument. So, after introducing a general statement about Braille system, you have given background information, and then you have said that what was the relevance of it? What was the relevance of it? So, before Braille system, what was happening? So we have spoke about that how important it was after introduction of Braille system. So the blindness which was stigmatized in societies, and that was definitely a barrier for their development, Braille system was very helpful for these sections. Moreover, you have also shown that you have given some more information that the idea of this type of learning was not new. It was just not completely new, and it was not only given by Louis Braille. It was earlier also, but this idea was systematically rationalized by Louis Braille. So you are just giving a very neutral importance to the system. And now in this step, you are going to give thesis, that what you are going to talk about. Okay? So that's going to sum up your entire notion about your essay. And this is the most important part of your introduction. A good thesis is not just a statement of fact, but a claim that requires evidence and explanation. So thesis is what? In which it is showing your goal. So what is your goal? Is to clearly convey your own position in a debate or your central point about a topic. I hope you have understood this point. The goal is to clearly convey your own position in a debate or your central point about a topic. That's what you have to understand. Let's just see. Thesis statement, first writing system, okay? Designed for blind people's needs, Braille was a ground. So here, Braille was a groundbreaking new accessibility tool. It not only provided practical benefits, okay, now we are going to talk about the practical benefits, but also helped change the cultural status of blindness. So that's mean we are talking about that how Braille system was very useful, very practical. So this is one statement, this is one point of our essay. And then it is also showing that, but also help change the cultural status of blindness. Okay, so it is also helping in that. So there are two important points. So one important point is that it has a practical benefits. Okay, and secondly, it has brought a paradigm shift on the cultural status of blindness. So blindness is got changed. So that is important point. And then we are going to talk about that. So step 4 is map your essay structure. Particularly in longer essays, it's helpful to end the introduction by signposting what will be covered in each part. Okay, so if you are writing 1200 का कोई essay आप कर रहे हो, तो ये अच्छा रहता है कि आप introduction में ही last में you can write down that this essay will discuss about the relevance of Braille system and how it has got the practical use, as well as it has brought a cultural change in the status of blind disability. So that's mean that I'm going to talk about the practical benefit, and now I'm talking about the social cultural changes which is there in the lives of the blind people. So this is now clear that I'm talking about the practical usage. So I would, in my paragraphs, I would be talking about different practical useful uses of Braille. And then also I would show that how many blind people have progressed and have brought very good changes in their lives and their community. So this is now a clear statement. So I hope you people have understood that what do we mean by the thesis statement. So I would say that when you say that in this essay, or this essay will discuss these points, so then it is very much clear that what you are going to write, and it also gives you a broader framework in which you are writing your essay. All right. For example, you can say, this essay begins by discussing the situation of blind people in 19th century Europe. So it's showing that what you are going to discuss. It then describes the invention of Braille and the gradual process of its acceptance within blind education. 2 points. तो अभी क्या हो रहा है? अभी हमारे को क्लियर हो रहा है कि हम अपने ऐसे में क्या बात कर रहे हैं. ओके, तो पहला हम क्या बात कर रहे हैं? This essay begins by discussing the situation of blind people in 19th century Europe. तो 19th century Europe में ब्लाइंड्स की क्या सिचुएशन थी, ये हम डिस्कस कर रहे हैं. उसके बाद it then describes the invention of Braille and the gradual process of its acceptance. So it is bringing a flow in our answer within the blind education and subsequently. So this is a very good connector. अगर हमने ब्लाइंड लोगों की बात करी है 19th सेंचुरी में, पहला पॉइंट. दूसरा पॉइंट, ब्रेल सिस्टम किस तरीके से एक्सेप्ट हुआ ब्लाइंड एजुकेशन सिस्टम में. तो तीसरा पॉइंट क्या होगा, उसी से रिलेटेड होगा. सब्सिक्वेंटली इन दोनों की वजह से इट एक्सप्लोर्स द वाइड रेंजिंग इफेक्ट्स ऑफ हिज इन्वेंशन ऑन ब्लाइंड पीपल्स social and cultural lives. All right. Now see this. You must check and revise your answer. So how you check your answer? So as you research and write, your argument might change or focus direction as you learn more. So for this reason, it is often a good idea to wait until later in the writing process before you write. So when you have finished writing the essay, body and conclusion, you should return to the introduction and check the content of the essay. So let me just begin with full paragraph now. See here. The invention of a Braille was a major turning point in the history of disability. First point, the invention of a Braille was a major turning point in the history of disability. So you are showing the relevance, importance. The writing system of raised dots used by visually impaired people was developed by Louis Braille in 19th century France. So historical information, some background information. In a society that did not value disabled people in general, blindness was particularly stigmatized. Stigmatized means that it is not being seen as something good. So negative notion is related. So stigmatized, and lack of access to reading and writing was a significant barrier to social participation. Okay, now it is giving a neutral statement. The idea of tactile reading was not entirely new. So this reading idea was not entirely new, but existing methods based on sighted systems were difficult to learn and use. So it is showing that in fact before the system of Braille we had many other systems, but it was not useful. It was not easy to cooperate. Okay, so this is what we have to understand here. So as the first writing system designed for blind peoples, needs, comma, Braille was a groundbreaking new accessibility tool. Again, it is showing that it was earlier also there were some idea by which you blind people could read and write, but it was not well developed. So as the first writing system designed for blind people's needs, Braille was a groundbreaking new accessibility tool. It not only provided practical benefits, so this is a thesis, main points, but also helped change the cultural status of blindness. And this is the most important point in your essay. It not only provided practical benefits, comma, but also helped change the cultural status of blindness. That means now in the following paragraphs, I would prove my points. First of all, I would write about practical benefits. I would write about practical usage. I would show that how different countries, different nations and different sections have used this Braille system. And in that country, with the help of statistical information, with the help of different reports and government reports, research work, I will prove my point that how practically it was being used and brought a second point, but also helped change the cultural status of blindness. So it had changed the status of blindness. So this is a very important point, and I would talk about these 2 points only in my essay. What is being lacking with respect to answer writing or the essay writing, that we are juggling with lot many points in our head. That's what we do not have to do. Okay, and one more thing I like to bring here again, which I have discussed previously. I have seen that what is the major problem, guys? Often aspirants believe that they can simply come to the stage 5th of answer writing or essay writing. I always tell my aspirants and students that answer writing is a skill. Personality, developing personality and aspiring to fetch highest marks in your interviews or in personality tests is also that also requires skills. And in both, you need to work on your communication skills, be of spoken English or of writing English. So communication is a way by which we exchange the ideas with each other. If it is very clear and concise, that only it makes sense. Coming to my first point, I like to bring in your notice that you all should take some grammar classes and also take some spoken classes and try to understand that how you can improve your spoken English as well. So there are many aspirants who approached me and they try to ask me that how they can improve their English. I would say that take a smaller steps each day. Learn something in your grammar, okay? Learn something of spoken English. So commonly it is being said that शीशे के सामने खड़े हो जाओ, start, stand in the front of mirror and then speaking. That is an old idea. It may help, it may not help. But I would say that start thinking in English. Start thinking about different structures, different grammars. Okay? So after speaking, after showing you this, the introduction part, I will also tell you that how you can always take a smaller step to improve your writing skills, which definitely requires a good hold on your English or your grammar. Okay, so now this is, I would again say that if you're writing for 1200 words, you must write that this essay begins by discussing the situation of blind people in the 19th century Europe. So that's mean in the first paragraph, I'm going to talk about the situation. So were they being accepted by the society, or their condition was lethal, or their condition was good, bad, whatsoever. And it should be supported by the evidences, facts, and many examples. Then it then describes the invention of Braille and then gradual process of its acceptance within blind education. Subsequently, it explores the wide-ranging effects of this invention on blind people's social and cultural lives. This is a good paragraph. I hope you people have understood this. Now, let's come back to our introduction. Although there should not be any strict rules you should apply, but you must have a hook at the beginning of the paragraph that grabs the reader attention. It should provide background information about your topic. It should give readers an idea about the main points and the claims that will be discussed in your paper. I hope now you understood that how to write a good introduction. I personally believe that nothing can be learned in one day or without practicing. You need to practice as well. But now start writing introduction. So I would give you a quick recommendation on this way. Take some essays, take UPSC essay papers, okay, or previous year question paper, and then just start writing introduction. Only introduction. You do not have to write the entire essay. You only have to start writing introduction. That is a good way to practice. Although no strict rules apply, experienced writers recommend that your introductory paragraphs be between 8 or 9% of your essay total word count. So 10%. So what you can do is, you can write about, sit down over there. So what you can do is that you can just write about, introduction is very important, and you can write about 8 to 10% of your total words limit. So if it is of 1200 words, so you can write about 10%. ठीक है? तो आप उस हिसाब से अपना इंट्रोडक्शन लिख सकते हैं. It should provide all the necessary information in regards time frames, characters, setting, etc. At the end of your introduction, there needs to be a clear thesis statement that reflects the main idea of your essay, जो मैंने अभी क्लास में आप लोगों को डिस्कस करके समझाया है. And there should be 3 parts of an introductory paragraph. So, part 1 is essay hook. A hook is one of the most effective introduction starters for an essay. It is talking about the starter of an essay. A hook has the purpose of catching the reader's attention. So when you are writing your answer, you should write your answer. The first statement should grab the attention. Are you getting this point? So you should bring a very catchy statement. All right. So that is very important. In other words, it is an attention grabber. So what information you are telling me which will hold my attention? So that is very important. That's why when you're writing your answer, first statement is very important. For example, Braille writing system. So what you have written? You have written that the Braille system was a major turning point in the history of disability. So it's a major turning point. So what is Braille? Braille is a writing system which is used by disabled people like visually impaired blind people. All right. So I like to tell how to make an interesting hook. What is hook? To grab the attention. To grab, it is an attention, you can say mechanism or a tool by which you can hold the attention of a reader. So how we can do that? It can be a shocking fact. It can be an anecdote. It can be a question, a short summary, or a quote. Okay? And here is to avoid when using a hook. Do not use cliches, dictionary definition, or generalization. Sweeping statements that include words like everywhere, always. So don't use such words. After pitching an effective hook, you should provide a broad overview of your main topic and state some background information for the subject matter of your paper. If you are wondering how to start an essay introduction, the best way is to provide a broad explanation of your theme and then leading your readers into a specific point. So simply put, so this is a very important point, simply put, comma, you should first give some general information and then gradually narrow it down into your specific points. So what you can do is, first of all, you have given a general information. After giving a general information about your topic, you can also, then you are just bringing about the main topics. Okay? So how you can have a attention of your examiner? You can use statistics. Okay? So statistical data can be perfect hook for persuasive essays in which you are in which you are convincing your readers that how the system is good or effective. And serious topics that require delving into numbers. So you can say a recent study, so it's a fact, showed that people who are satisfied with their work life balance work 21% harder and are 33% more likely to stay at the same company. So this is a good way to catch your attention, grab attention. So a recent study showed that people who are satisfied with their work life balance work 21% harder and are 33% more likely to stay at the same company. So what it is showing? It is giving us statistical information. And whensoever statistical information is involved, it means that it is a very important fact. Okay? Sometimes you can use personal stories as well. So sometimes personal stories can be an appropriate hook, but it should not be too much. You can write personal story, but it should, if you are very good, then only I would suggest that you can use your personal story, but only if they can fit into a brief sentences. So you cannot go on and on with your story. So if there are 2-3 sentences, then you can write a introduction. For example, when I had my first work from home experience, comma, I suddenly realized that the importance of having a good work-life balance. I saw plenty of the benefits it can provide. You can use scenes. This type of hook requires making the readers imagine the things you are writing about. It is the most suitable when used in a descriptive and narrative essays. Okay, so what you can do is you can create a scene. You can create an imaginations, okay, in reader's mind. Example, Imagine you could have as much free time as you wish by working or studying from home and spend more time with your loved ones. So you are imagining, imagine you could have as much free time as you wish by working or studying from home and spend more time with your loved ones. Okay? So with respect to answer writing, today we have discussed how to write an introduction. I summarized my points that in introduction, you have some points. In the first line, it should be a sentence which must grab the attention. You can use statistical information, you can use your own story, you can bring some facts, you can bring, anecdote, you can bring quotes. Then there should be some background information. So it should be of historical in nature. You are telling something about that topic. And then it should talk about what? It should talk about thesis statement, that what you are talking about, your main points. So from general, now you are narrowing it down. So from the general statement, you are narrowing down your answer, and then you can just use a closing statement that this essay will discuss about the benefits of Braille system and its impact on disabled societies. Okay, and then we'll start with the body 1 and the body 2 part. Okay, so again I would suggest you that practice more with introduction part, and then in next class I would explain about body 1, body 2, body 3, and then we will discuss entire essays. All right, now coming to spoken English, coming to personality test. What, imagine guys, that what if you people have cleared your prelims and also your interviews, but not able to get good marks in personality test, due to which you are out of this race. Personality test is that area in which you can grab highest marks to without reading much, without putting a lot of efforts. I would suggest again, I'd say again that how you need to work on your personality always. If you're sitting in front of your panel, you should sit straight. You should sit straight, right? And your hand position should be like, on your chair, whatsoever. You should not moving, okay? Keep your position straight, very straight. No, it's not straight, okay? Little back, yeah. And see and have a eye-to-eye contact. Don't make such expressions, just eye-to-eye contact. That's it, okay? And now you need to work on your personality from today as well. Do not wait for prelims to get cleared, for mains to get cleared. Start working on yourself. Start working on your communication skills. In the beginning of my lecture, I have told that how you must work on your grammar. So you must speak some languages, some sentences, which brings clarity and quality in your speaking. If you have planned to appear in your exam and your medium of language is English, you must talk about and read on that part. So for instance, today I have brought one point which you can use in your speaking part. Use of if I had instead of if I would have for a conditional statements. In your personality test, you may be surrounded with too many conditional questions. What would happen if you are being hired and you are being appointed in some areas in which you need to deal with tribal people, tribal sections? What if? So if is a conditional word. Okay, so sit straight. So if is what? It is a conditional word. So what you can say? So it needs you to imagine. So how you would answer such question? If you had appointed as an IAS officer of particular area and this is a problem, how you would deal with that? So it's a situation in which we are imagining and you need to answer that. So generally aspirants use I would have done this, I would have used this mechanism, I would have brought this situation under control by doing this. So this is how you can use a better contraction, how you can reduce this. Today I'll show you this. So when talking about something that didn't happen in the past, many English speakers use the conditional perfect if I would have done, when they should be using the past perfect if I had done. Okay, so this is what you should read. So for example, if I had known this, we would have we would have taken much more much more precautionary measures. So had we known about the crisis, had we known about this situation earlier, we would have done this. Okay, so this is a very important part in which you can improve your English. Okay, see here. For example, if you find out that your brother saw a movie yesterday, you would have liked to say it too, but you had not known he was going. To express this, comma, you can use if and then clause. The correct way to say this is with the past perfect in if clause and the conditional perfect then clause. So what is clause? Clause means an idea. See, if I had known that you were going to the movies, comma, then I would have gone too. If I had known that you were going to the movies, I would have gone too. Another example, if I had gotten paid, we could have traveled together. Another better way, had I gotten paid, we could have traveled together. Had I prepared well for UPSC preparation, I would have cleared this exam. Had I practiced more of answer writing sessions or more of answer writing, I would have scored highest marks. Had I focused more on my communication skills, I would have achieved good marks in personality test. Had I read more books on some topic, let's just say anything, I would have enriched myself more. Had you asked me, I could have helped you. Had you asked me, I could have helped you. Had you asked me, I could have helped you. That's when अगर आपने मुझसे पहले बोला होता मैं आपकी हेल्प कर चुकी होती. Okay, so that is what you need to learn. So this is what you have to do slowly and gradually. So I would just say this, that you need to understand one very integral point, that nothing comes easy, everything requires a lot of efforts, and you cannot build a castle in one night. You need to work gradually and slowly. So start practicing these sentences too. I wish you had told me. We wish they had been honest. All right. So I would say you can use some sentences and you can use, so this is a choose A or B. If I would have known you were sick, I could have brought you some meals. Or you can say, if I had known you were sick, I could have brought you some meals. So which statement is A or B? It's B. If I had known you were sick, I could have brought you some meals. If you, so 2A. If you had explained the objective, comma, I could have completed assignment sooner. So if you had explained the objective, I could have completed the assignment sooner. Or if you would have explained the objective, I could have completed the assignment sooner. It's A. See, what you have to understand, in conditional sentences, it should not if you would have. दोनों में ये सेंटेंस नहीं आना चाहिए. Would have यहाँ पे भी आ रहा है और could have यहाँ पे भी आ रहा है. So could have और would have दोनों आ रहे हैं, तो ये नहीं यूज करेंगे, हम ये करेंगे. If you had explained the objective, I could have completed the assignment sooner. तो यहाँ पे if you would have नहीं आ रहा. Okay? If you had explained the objective, now tell me the correct answer. I wish it had gone differently. We wish the team had scored more goals. Oh, sorry, this is. I wish it would have gone differently, or I wish it had gone differently. Yes. We wish the team had scored more goals. We wish the team would have scored more goals. A. We wish the team had scored more goals. All right. So this is it. All right. So guys, I will like to close this session now. As I said that you need to focus on your communication skills. That includes both speaking and writing. And for that, you need to work on your grammars, structures, and your, how you would write your good essay and answers. All right. So take good care of yourselves. Today, I could not see your messages on the screen and on your chat section. On Saturday, we'll meet again and we'll talk about same. Thank you so much.